The sweetest, kindest, amazing girl in the world.
Charlotte's wish for the world to know. If social media was banned, would Charlotte still be here?
Absolutely.
How social media can kill.
Giving our kids these phones, we're giving them weapons.
But will banning it for kids
We need radical change.
really make them safer?
I'm really concerned that it's going to make our children more unsafe than they've ever been.
If the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has his way, from the end of next year, children under 16 will be banned from social media. That's right, soon for our kids, there will be no more Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and all those other addictive apps. For the government, it's a bold move taking on the world's tech giants. And there are valid questions about how a ban will work. But if you want one compelling reason why something needs to be done urgently, this is it. Her name is Charlotte O'Brien, and it was her wish that Australians understand the truth that social media can kill. And a warning, this story is confronting. Charlotte O'Brien's last request was for people to know what happened to her. That's why Matt and Kelly have mustered every ounce of strength they have left to tell their daughter's story.
It is the deepest of deep, grief. And it's the first thing you think of in the morning and all throughout the day. It never leaves you. And then at night, that's when the nightmares kick in.
The 12-year-old took her own life 2 months ago. Now, all Matt and Kelly have left to hold of their precious girl are her ashes, encased inside this teddy bear.
She was the sweetest, kindest, funniest, most helpful, amazing girl in the world. She was the best big sister, the best daughter. She just loved to love and to be loved. She was my everything. She was our everything.
Relentless bullying in the schoolyard pushed Charlotte to the brink. But it was social media her parents blamed for tipping her over the edge. Tonight, how two heartbroken parents pushed the Prime Minister to take on big tech and ban social media for kids under 16.
How many more Charlottes do we need to lose? We've already lost more. How many more? Before we stand up and say it's enough. It's enough.
If social media was banned, would Charlotte still be here?
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm going to my Year 6 fellow.
What exactly happened to Charlotte O'Brien in the hours before she ended her own life is still being investigated by police. And while the causes of suicide are always complex, on the last night Charlotte spent with her parents, she appeared to be the happiest she'd been in weeks.
We know that she had ongoing struggles, and for the last 2 weeks was the best 2 weeks that I can remember with her, and we thought we were really turning the corner. She'd come home from school that day and she'd had a great day. Kelly had made her a favourite dinner that night. She ran in the house to have a dinner. That night she skipped off to bed, literally skipped. And we never saw her again.
Her joy wouldn't last long. Alone in her bedroom, the bullying Charlotte was suffering at school continued in cruel texts sent to her on social media.
We came across a friend of Charlotte's that she had met online, and she had shared with us some of the things that Charlotte had spoken to her about that night after she went up to bed. And she had called her just completely distressed, and shared the messages that she had read.
Whatever you're comfortable sharing, what can you tell me about what was said to her that night online?
So we can't say exactly what we've been told, but what I will tell you is what we've been told is some of the worst words that anybody should have to read, let alone a 12-year-old girl.
The messages were sent to Charlotte on Snapchat, a social media platform her mum had banned her daughter from using.
My personal opinion, giving our kids these phones, we're giving them weapons. We're giving them the world at their fingertips. I actually gave her a phone in Year 5 because I was late picking her up from school and she was waiting on the corner crying. It was only a few minutes, but we both felt horrible about it. So straight to Telstra we went and she had a phone. For the next 2 years it was, oh, please, can I get TikTok? Can I get Snapchat? Can I get this? Can I get that? No. Oh, Mummy, please, I'm in high school. So we did let her get Snapchat for a little bit and she had 2 rules. She broke them. She had her phone taken off her more than she had it on her.
So she was hiding the fact that she was on social media.
Our understanding is she only had it back on for just over a week, and you know that week was enough to have a significant impact on her, to lead to where we are now. It's awful.
One of the first things Kelly saw when she entered Charlotte's bedroom the following morning was her daughter's phone lying on the floor. What she discovered next is a moment this grieving mum can never unsee.
I just kept saying to the police that morning, where did she get the knowledge and the means? Where did she get the knowledge and the means? I couldn't wrap my head around it. And he just said to me, this is the age of information. She just needed to Google it. And for me, I'm so devastated by that because I gave her that phone.
But amongst the chaos and confusion of that devastating morning, one thing was clear. In a series of letters, Charlotte had left her parents a final request.
One of them was, please share my story to raise awareness. So that's why we're here.
That note that she wrote in a moment of absolute despair is the thing that gets us out of bed in the morning. And I can tell you, it's hard. You don't want to. We have that sense of responsibility to her. And if we can, again, just stop it from happening again to somebody else, then maybe this is Charlotte's wish. Maybe it is.
Somehow, in the days that followed, Matt and Kelly bravely began honouring that wish.
It is a complicated issue, but we need to do something about it. You know, we need to do better for our kids.
One of the first steps was joining the 36 Months campaign, calling to lift the age limit for social media from 13 to 16 and getting kids off social media and back onto the playground.
Super Ted. Tongues out.
The 36 Months movement was co-founded by Nova radio personality Michael Whipper Whipfleet.
Don't cross the line.
No.
Can you get it in, darling?
As a father of 3 young children, it was hearing harrowing stories like Charlotte's that spurred him into action.
Fitzy Whipper, Kate Ritchie.
For the past 6 months, he's been leveraging his popular morning breakfast show to champion the cause.
Update for you on 36 Months, guys.
More than 120,000 people signed his online petition, demanding the government to act and ban kids under 16 from accessing social media.
No other country has yelled out louder that we are desperate for change than here in Australia, because the parents have seen the devastation.
When you're talking about arguing that the age should be 16, surely you just need to hear the stories from families who have had children
Completely.
affected.
And
I mean, how can you even stand up and argue the fact?
no.
Especially when you have Matt and Kelly about to knock at your door. Most days, they're struggling to get out of bed, but they've come to Canberra to meet the Prime Minister to compel him to act. Kelly, what do you intend to say when you see the Prime Minister face to face?
I intend to say, please, Mr. Albanese, raise the age of social media to 16 because 36 months could change a lifetime. That's what I'm going to say.
Charlotte was not the first, and she's already not the last. And this will continue to happen unless we make the right decisions. We have to keep our kids safe. As parents, what else are we here for, if not first to keep our kids safe? And this is without a doubt a decision that will make our kids safer than they are today.
It's a big decision the Prime Minister has now made.
Social media is doing harm to our kids, and I'm calling time on it.
But, as you'll see, while there are great intentions, the question remains, will a ban work?
Children will find their way online, and they're going to find their way online into darker spaces than the ones that are already there.
It's a club that bereaved parents, Matt Howard and Kelly O'Brien, wish they were never a part of.
This is her story, not ours.
But, despite their grief, they've come to the nation's capital to petition the Prime Minister to ban social media for kids under 16.
And I think something really important is that we have age verification. So we need something to protect our kids.
I have my bag and I'm really excited, so bye.
On September 9, Kelly and Matt's 12-year-old daughter, Charlotte O'Brien, committed suicide after being bullied in the schoolyard and online. Her final wish was for the world to know her story. Joining the campaign is Rob Evans. Last year, his 15-year-old daughter, Liv, also took her own life
So I ate most of the vegetables.
after battling a crippling eating disorder he says was exacerbated by social media.
As hard as it is and as emotional as it is, if these two girls can make that impact for the rest of Australian kids, then I know that they're both proud of us for being here as parents.
We first met Rob in May, when Australia was only flirting with the idea of introducing a ban on social media for kids. Back then, he compared the battle against big tech as similar to former Prime Minister John Howard's fight against the gun lobby.
I would liken where we are now to like when we made the changes to the gun laws. And I think we're at that level with social media. And somebody needs to say, do you know what, this is just the right thing to do. Yeah, it's going to have some backlash, but we need to do this. It's the right thing to do. You just have to make a stand.
As Rob entered Parliament, he wasn't confident Anthony Albanese would have the political courage to lift the age to 16. But he hoped stories like Liv's and Charlotte's would persuade the PM. But moments before they could even reach the Prime Minister's office, Anthony Albanese made the announcement to these parents who'd been hoping for, that by the end of next year, kids 16 years and younger will be blocked from social media.
I've spoken to thousands of parents, grandparents, aunties and uncles. They, like me, are worried sick about the safety of our kids online. And I want Australian parents and families to know that the government has your back.
I think walking away today knowing that you've got bipartisan support to take it to 16, they want to act on this in the next 2 weeks to get it into Parliament. I mean, it's a way faster outcome than I was expecting. The Prime Minister said, I know it's going to be a fight, but we're up for the fight.
For Matt and Kelly, the news that their daughter Charlotte's dying wish had been granted was overwhelming.
What do you think Charlotte would have to say about what's happened?
I think she'd be proud of us.
You're very proud of this woman here. Yeah.
I think
She is.
she'd be more proud of herself if I know my daughter.
Yeah. We will never get our daughter back, but families across this country will get their kids back now as a result of this. So, that gives us great comfort.
It's an historic decision. While social media has been banned for kids elsewhere, Australia is leading the way by making the age limit 16. No other country in the world has gone that far. But that's also the issue. The government doesn't yet know how it's going to enforce it. In fact, a trial to test age verification technology hasn't even begun.
It's a disaster.
I mean, you're not mincing words there. You think it's just not going to work?
No, I think it's not going to work. I'm really concerned that it's going to make our children more unsafe than they've ever been.
Professor Amanda Third is no rogue outlier. At the Western Sydney University, she runs a research centre studying how children use technology. She's also one of more than 140 Australian and international academics with expertise in technology and child welfare who've signed an open letter to the government opposing the ban on social media. What is your evidence that suggests that a ban just wouldn't work?
These kinds of age gating policies have been tried in many other places, so in the European Union, for example, and there are no working examples of an enforceable policy, right?
No working examples
No working examples at all, no. I think many people won't understand that if we implement a ban, this will require all users to age verify online. It will mean that there are, that our children's data is being collected by external parties.
Has the ship sailed a little bit in terms of data privacy? I mean, they already have our information out there, don't they?
Yes, they do, but this would be a whole other level of information collection and, the plan for how that would be managed is anything but clear.
According to Professor Third, it just wouldn't be worth it. She believes tech-savvy children will always find a way around age verification technology. To her, the better, but less popular solution is to put more pressure on big tech to regulate their content and make platforms safer. And the constant argument is they'll always put profits before the safety of its users.
Yeah, one thing that I need to make clear is that those of us who are opposing the ban are not opposing the ban because we think social media companies should be able to run riot. We're opposing the ban because we believe that this is a blunt instrument and what we need are much more fine-grained regulatory instruments that actually will hold social media companies to account for their responsibilities to children and their parents.
How is there better evidence for a ban than kids dying?
My heart goes out to those families. It's absolutely not okay that that's their experience. But I think what we have to remember in this situation is that all of us as parents want the very best for our children. And what we have to work out is how do we get that? And my concern is that raising the age to 16 is just not going to get us there. It's potentially going to make things much, much worse. And I don't think we've got effective ways of keeping children out of those spaces. And children won't be able to ask for help when they do end up in those spaces.
It's an important point. Professor Third says in some cases, social media can be used for good, with some children even seeking out mental health support online. She believes an age limit ban ignores the experts.
We're in the lead up to an election. I think both sides of government have fuelled parental anxieties, and I'm really disappointed that they would put children's, experiences, that they would imperil children's access to social media for political gain.
Well, I would refute that this is a political decision. This is one that has been considered very carefully.
Communications Minister Michelle Rowland is in charge of figuring out how the ban will work. She doesn't shy away from the fact the government has sided with worried parents. There are 140 academics, including mental health groups, who disagree with what's happening here. They say that this is putting emotion before the evidence. Are they wrong?
A lot of those groups are obviously very reputable, but equally there are parents, there are communities and there are children who are concerned about the harmful impacts of social media. No one is denying that social media can have lots of benefits in terms of connecting young people, but we have to address those harms. That is the role of government.
And while she admits the technology is still to be tested, and that some children will always find loopholes, to do nothing is not an option.
Children invariably find a way around things. They are smart. But again, I don't see that as an argument for doing nothing in this space. What we are proposing to do here really is world leading. There is no off-the-shelf product here, but we're fortunate in Australia that we do have a legislative framework. We do have an existing regulator. So we are utilising those, and this is not going to solve every problem when it comes to harms on the internet, but it will go a long way.
Backed by both major parties, legislation to ban social media for under 16-year-olds will be introduced this week. And while Kelly and Matt know it's uncharted territory, if they can save even one child from harm, then their daughter Charlotte's dying wish will have been granted.
She's been heard and she mattered.